Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this was one of my most anticipated films going into the later half of this year. I was super excited to see it at Astra, and I finally got to see it Friday, and this is a special film. I've heard some reviews and some people's comments that this film was boring, it was too methodical. I feel like it is a very fine line between really methodical, well-paced, kind of slow-burning experience, and just, this is blah. I never felt blah watching at Astra. I always felt like every single shot was beautiful and methodically put together and meant to really make you contemplate what was going on, because this film is a very deep film and makes you really reflect on some deeper themes of purpose and humanity and the struggle that Roy McBride, played by Brad Pitt, who gives one of his best performances I've ever seen. There's some scenes in this film that he really sells it. There's a lot of narration in this film, and it's interesting why it's included in the film and how it supports the rest of the story. It could have been hit or miss. I can see why people might not like it. I felt like it really grabbed your attention and brought you into the mind of this character. And Brad Pitt really sells some scenes where he has to have a lot of emotional heft. This is a very intense and personal journey for him in this film. And also, you're going to the vast unknown of space, into the void, and what that effect can have on people. And throughout this film, James Gray, who I absolutely love Lost City of Zed, so I was super excited for this film and what he did in outer space. And the effects are great. This is a strikingly beautiful film, especially for something with a mid-size big production company budget. I think this was around $80 million, and they make it work. And it's strikingly beautiful, so well crafted. And like I said, I felt like the pacing was really contemplative and created an atmosphere of wonder and really letting things in, because this film is so affecting. There's scenes in it where it's fast and exhilarating and exciting. There's some scenes that are freaky and on edge, and there's some scenes that have so much tension. And like, the plot of the film is Brad Pitt trying to find his father out lost in space, who might be causing some serious issues, and when he finally gets there, it's like, what's going to happen? And those scenes are so intense, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat not knowing what's going to happen. And this is one of those kinds of films where it's like you have one central character, and he is deep, and you're immersed in him. And then there's a rogues gallery of just other side characters that pop in for a very specific amount of time for very specific reasons, and they might not have a whole lot of depth, most of them, but they serve their purpose, and they're memorable and interesting. And some fine performances from a Donald Sutherland, a Ruth Negga, and then Tommy Lee Jones, who I didn't expect to be in this film a whole lot, and I've heard a lot of comparisons to Apocalypse Now, and I can definitely see that. I would also make some comparisons to Silence from Martin Scorsese, but like, Brad Pitt is a powerhouse in this film. Amazing performance. And Tommy Lee Jones gives a really great performance in his time on screen. And this is something special. And if you're not into slow, contemplative science fiction, then this is really going to alienate you, because it really dives deep into that. If you're somebody that watches 2001: A Space Odyssey and you're just like, what? Then you'll probably have the same reaction to this. I feel like this film's more hopeful and it's less abstract, and there's also some exhilarating moments that could capture the attention of some other viewers in this theater, because there's cool moments on the space rig at the beginning of the film. That chase that you see in the trailers on the moon is pretty cool. But in general, this film is gorgeous. The music is amazing and affecting and beautiful. Technically, a almost perfect film. And then it's deep. It has a very strong central performance and character. And is this story super, super interesting? Not necessarily, but I feel like it does some interesting things is how it incorporates smaller pieces of it. Because it's an adventure. You're going from step to step, and some of those things are ambitious and interesting how they put things, but it is a familiar story. But honestly, this is a special film. This is definitely in my top 5. I really loved that Astra. I would highly recommend going to check this out. If you love science fiction, eat this up. Do it. Enjoy it. And really let this sit in and savor it. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.